What? Mayor Pete is the man for the job.
You know there's a 30-minute limit, right? Tell that to the right. For those who were born to ride, there's Progressive.
Before we talk about tax-smart investing, what's new? Audrey's expecting.
Twins.
Way too close for the twins.
Changing plans.
At Fidelity, a change in plans is always part of the plan.
Parents, meet Go Henry. Designed to teach kids money skills for life. It's the debit card connected to a smart app, loaded with budgeting tools and complete with parental control. 92% of parents said their children are more money confident since using Go Henry. You set them chores and allowances, they start earning. They spend, you get notified. They set goals and start building savings habits. Plus, they get to customize their cards. Go Henry. Tools to get your kids money confident and make your lives easier along the way. Get started now.
The Shark Vac Mop. The all-in-one disposable pad that vacuums up debris other pads push around. Then it spray mops tough messes. Just vacuum, then spray, and toss. The Shark Vac Mop.
Wow. A new Buick for me?
To James, from James. That's just what I wanted.
Is this a new Buick?
Secret Santa myself?
I shouldn't have.
I have been very good this year.
Wow.
Good morning.
Wow.
Don't forget you this holiday season.
Alright, so today we're looking at Neo. We are looking at DKNG and J Maya. So we're going to go with the three faves right now. I'm going to keep trading these as long as I think that the hype is gone for now. I like Neo still because it still has ways to go from last week's high of $49, $48.97. But not just that.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm impressed. I may have read your diary, nerd. For a nation,
a high of 58.51 is the highest. I mean, it could definitely surpass that. So, but we're looking for recent highs. So recent highs. So I want to ride this for about a 55 cents pop, knowing that it can move over 55 cents, but being that 55 cents is kind of where it stops for a moment and then maybe continues a little, 30 seconds or a minute after. But 55 cents is definitely a reachable pop with this.
Ever get the feeling that the things you do to be better actually
taking base hits is what we're doing. Building up the capital little by little so we can start buying more and more shares of maybe the same stock or other stocks that move more than $3 on average. Doing a 55 cents pop on those wouldn't be worth it because of how expensive they are. Buying maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 shares of it, for it to move, in between the average $2.50, maybe $4.50, around there would probably be good for those. But you want to get at least like 5 to 6 shares for that. Make a decent small pop on that, because that's what a small pop on those are.
And Congressman McCarthy that lasted more than 3 hours last night. Good sign. The leaders talked relief for Americans.
And then we're looking at J Maya. So I like Neo where it's kind of at right now. It's in between the support and the resistance. It did pop up pre-market, and then we had a couple pops pre-market. We just had one over here, one here, the biggest one being here. It sold off back to the high of its original pop right here at 1 in the morning at 44.13. So what we're looking for this is for this to get to the recent high of 45.62. So I really do think you can get there. So from about $1 plus to get to that. I really think you can get that. I think it might sell off a little bit right after the bell since it already went up so high and it's close to the 44.41 mark, which was the highest pre-market, and that was around 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So we'll see. I gotta get something to drink. Some coffee. I'll be right back.
And that's the art of making a deal. You have to compromise.
So
and we
what-
found that, so that's what they're staying with.
So what changed? What broke the logjam?
Well, the logjam is the timing. We're going to run out of time. So you can't go home. Who would ever go home when some people don't have a home to go to? Think about that. Why would we leave people stranded with no unemployment checks, food insecurity, shelter insecurity because of eviction notices, all the needs that we have for health care as far as with vaccine distribution. Now that we have vaccine, we have our healthcare institutions such as our hospitals that need assistance. There was so much need that was expiring at the end of the month. It's a shame that's what they have to do is get to a deadline. But I think we broke the log jam when we were able to come together, 10 to 15 of us, Democrats and Republicans from the House and the Senate, and said enough is enough. Here's the bill. We've done it for you. Use it as a template. And I think that's what's expedited everything.
But, sir, this urgent need has been going on for months. When Mitch McConnell was working on confirming a Supreme Court justice, people were going hungry, people were dying. So right now, let's say you get this thing passed. How long before people get that money in their pocket, get the support they need?
A lot of the vehicles are already in place from the first CARES Act to put a lot of money out, so they should be able to use that. The language we've used has basically been tweaked along around the needs. I've said this is around need, not greed. A lot of people got money that shouldn't have got it before or got loans they didn't need. We were able to basically streamline this to hopefully get to the need of America. I just think there's a lot of good things that we were able to do and work out. It's a very good roadmap and template. I understand they're using that. And that's the only way we can expedite something, because the language, as you know, Stephanie, it takes a while to get the legislative language in place back from the bill drafters. We'd already done that. So we're happy that we could play a part. We're happy that we moved them. We're happy that's going to get done. And we've got to continue to keep this alive. And like you said, rather than coming to a crisis every time and having to have a deadline, why can't we have a normal procedure? I'm excited about Joe Biden being our president, being able to work, understanding how the Senate should work, because he made it work before, and Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer and all of us working together. It shouldn't just be on the laps of leadership. It basically should be all of us participating in the committee process, Stephanie. That's how this works. And we shouldn't have the log jams we've been having. So we'll see what happens. We're excited.
When you talk about streamlining some of the support, what does that look like? Because I think about the fact that you're re-upping PPP, the Small Business Loan Program.
Right.
There were all sorts of businesses that didn't need the money at all, and they took it. And now here we are with this bill that doesn't appear to have the restaurant bill in it, and for thousands of restaurants that are going under every single day,
Stephanie, it has restaurants. Yeah, it has restaurants. Most certainly. Restaurants are going to be in this bill. That's the front line. They're going to go down, and they might never come back. They're going down as we speak. We know that. Venues, stages, venues, all this is going to be in it. Transportation's in it. Mass transit, my goodness, they're going down, having a hard time. We tried to look at everything we could. And as far as the PPP program, Stephanie, you have to show a 30% revenue loss to even qualify. You have to have 300 employees or less to even qualify. We're aiming this at more smaller businesses, and all the small businesses, all the restaurants had tremendous drops. And we gave in this bill, Stephanie, more flexibility because it was weighted before on payroll. This is going to be for expenses, operating expenses too. We've tried to make the corrections that needed to be made. My mask keeps falling down, Stephanie. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold it up and it won't. But this is a nice West Virginia. You see that?
I
That's
like
our
that.
state seal. Okay.
I like that. I don't mind you fixing it. I want you to stay safe. So this bill, let's say this bill gets passed this week. How long do you think before we need another bill? Do you think this is going to be the last one?
Well, this is an emergency. You know, you've seen what we introduced. It's a COVID Emergency Relief Act. That's what we've done. And we're working under emergency situations. Everyone knows that more is going to be needed in order to keep this economy going. Joe Biden will make that decision when he becomes president, puts his staff in place. They'll look at the economic situation that we're in, how we need to do and what we need to do to stimulate it, and we're going to do that. So he'll come with a proposal. We will look at that. Our group will still be together. We're going to help, even if the leadership hits the proverbial hard rock again. And we're going to make sure that it keeps moving on. But we're going to make sure there's a need for it too. Stephanie, we're at $27.44 trillion of debt as of this morning. $27.44 trillion. We've accumulated more debt in the last 4 years than we have ever since World War II. Unbelievable. So someone better get their financial house in order and start going it quickly.
Sir, we've been talking about this for the last few minutes. Bipartisanship is the only answer. You are someone who has spent his career working across the aisle. Does it concern you that so many of your Republican colleagues are still not even acknowledging that Joe Biden is the president-elect? Given that, do you have any level of confidence that you're going to be able to work with them after January 20th and Joe Biden will?
They're going to get there. It's
Then
just
why
taking
aren't they
some
now?
I have no clue. I'm telling you, when a person has a 70 million Twitter following, that might be intimidating. The money he's accumulating right now for the sake of whatever, in a PAC, a political action committee, thinking that could be used. But I think enough is enough. I think you're going to see some people get some courage, stand up and say, listen, I really don't care. I really don't care, but I'm not going to live under these conditions. I'm hoping that day comes sooner than later. And I think after January the 6th, you'll see a big change. I think you're seeing Leader McConnell yesterday saying, congratulations to Joe Biden. Those two know each other. They understand how this place is supposed to work. And I think he'll be able to, hopefully, forge a new inviting atmosphere that we can all work together. Right now is a tribal atmosphere that it's your fault. You're on this side and we're on that side, and it's everybody's fault fighting back and forth. That's not how I do business. It's not how I've ever done my responsibilities.
Well, I do want to ask you before we go.
Yeah.
About what side you're on, because with this Georgia election coming up, there are some very senior members of the Republican Party who have been whispering to big Republican donors, it's okay if Democrats sweep Georgia. After the election, we're going to convince Joe Manchin to switch parties. Is there any truth to that?
That is breaking news, because I've never heard before. No, there's not. Not at all. These are my friends. I'm comfortable with my Republican friends. We go out and have dinner together. We talk.
All right.
That's the way it's supposed to be. We can have differences, and I can let me understand where we're coming from. You can't.
So let's see.
Is coming from. How do you find the middle? How do you find the compromise? How do you find the breaking point? And that's what I've been able to do. I am the most centrist voting member.
So the tricky thing about these stocks, with Neo, DraftKings mostly, that they have these huge waves. You know, like they're so volatile, man. You know, DraftKings tends to be like the comeback king because it can drop massively and then recover more than half that, which is insane.
Coming up next, as President-elect Biden's cabinet takes shape, President Trump's inner circle could be shrinking. A brand new report on just how close he is to firing FBI chief that he chose.
Insane run. So we know Maya sold off. It's still in good price range. Maybe a little more of a drop than what it's at now. It is a little higher than Neo. DraftKings also a little higher than Neo, being that it's close to the resistance. So the thing with DraftKings yesterday, after this huge, massive run pre-market, it opening already overbought. I kind of figured it was going to drop. But it dropped massively. I mean, it had a little mini run right there in the beginning. But then right after, it just took a huge dump, man. But it was too high. So it's the reasons why I use these deviation lines, more or less to gauge where it can go, because they go per stock, So if right now where Neo is at is okay. It's a decent price, where it might open at. And I also like the fact that we have room to go. You know, but I'm expecting a little sell-off before this thing goes. You know, look at the 10-day. You know, the next level of resistance that it's already passed. Besides this pre-market run from a high of 44.41, you know, so we're like what, like 19 cents? No. Yeah, about 19 cents, 15 cents away from that, and then the next level would be 45.62. So I'm kind of anticipating for this to go to at least 45, 25, 45, 35 from where it's at right now. That's why I'm liking it. As we see J Maya start to sell off, and let's get ready. DraftKings taking off.
California, you can have free or low-cost health insurance. Veronica's Insurance enrolls you starting November 1st until December 15th. Re-enroll you now by calling 1-800-639-3939 or go to veronicasinsurance.com.
Now this 44.13 level right here, that was the well, what was that? No, so 44.37, 43.57. That is the resistance from yesterday, 43.57. We're already above that. So
These top-of-the-line hearing aids from a year ago are straight out of the future. They're rechargeable and virtually invisible in your ears. Convenient, right? Shop our Christmas sale today.
I think it's going to go back to the high of where it came from.
Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Rule. This morning, Team Biden will get a major addition. At a press conference in just a few hours, the president-elect will introduce former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg to be his pick for Transportation Secretary. Multiple sources also confirm that Biden will pick former Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm to be his Energy Secretary. As President-elect Biden continues to fill his administration, President Trump's team continues to empty. In a brand new NBC News report this morning, we learned that the president has come so close to firing his FBI director, Christopher Wray, that the White House counsel's office has warned him against it because it could put him in potential legal jeopardy. Jeff Bennett is with Team Biden in Wilmington, Delaware, and PBS NewsHour White House correspondent who I haven't seen in ages, but I'm thrilled to, Yamiche Alcindor, also with us. Jeff, tell us more about these cabinet picks.
Hey, Steph, great to see you. Well, in Pete Buttigieg, the Biden transition thinks that it has found someone who is best capable of really selling Joe Biden's plan to bring about an infrastructure change. And that's important because Joe Biden will not be the first president to call for revitalizing the country's infrastructure. Lots of presidents have tried and failed to do that, including the outgoing one. And so it's important, the Biden transition believes, to have someone who is an effective communicator. And they believe they found that in Pete Buttigieg. Beyond that, Joe Biden is someone who has called himself a candidate during the campaign anyway. He called himself a candidate of transition, a bridge between this generation of Democratic leaders and the next.
Dude, Maya just took off. Real nice.
Someone who would be the youngest cabinet secretary ever. Also the first openly gay cabinet secretary in American history. And beyond that, they have a personal relationship. I was there last spring when Buttigieg endorsed Joe Biden, and Biden said that he reminded him of his son, Beau, and Biden said that that was the highest honor that he could ever bestow on anyone, Steph.
Yamiche, you have been covering the Biden campaign as well as the White House for as long as I've known you. Pete Buttigieg, once Joe Biden's rival, then once his most impactful surrogate. Does it surprise you that he would choose him for this specific role?
It doesn't, because in some ways, as Jeff just reported, I've been hearing from sources that he really wants people to just focus on infrastructure, focus on the really how the systems of this country work. As someone who has experience in the executive branch, even though it's a small city of South Bend, it's still a city that he understood how it was working.
Wow, that was an insane pop.
So this, it seems like a position that people who judge can have, but also grow into and bring experience into. So it's not very surprising. I will also say that I was talking to sources about the idea that before this, Joe Biden hadn't picked any of his
right, yeah. So I jumped in on Neo, trying to ride this momentum. So I got in right here where this pink line is right here. So I didn't go in blind. I did see that my line crossed here on the SCO. My pink and blue line being underneath, with the yellow and the blue line also being underneath. So I'm gonna expect for this to drop just a little bit, but then pop back up over this average line right here. As we know, it can do that. So I'm hoping that this is not going to drop too far down. We're just looking for a 55 cents pop on this. And Neo so far, what it's been doing is opening at that level, dropping just a little bit, but then reclaiming a lot of that back past that past the resistance line right here on the deviation lines. So it didn't go that much more than what I wanted it to go. It did go
this would put him in legal jeopardy. There's so much already going, mainly because
about 23 cents. I was about 20 cents shy from where I wanted it to go. So we're good. But I do think that this stock is still undervalued of where it was at. Being at the next level of resistance would be 45.62. So if this drops a little bit more, say if it goes down to the actual resistance,
so the president could, in some ways, in these
which one is this one?
Director to possibly try to pressure them to open investigations or target people. In Christopher Wray, we have not seen him do that. So in some ways, it's really the big question.
So 43.57 is the resistance from yesterday. So I could see that maybe dropping down to there before it starts to climb. But we know Neo has these huge waves. So I did feel comfortable getting. If I had more shares of this, then I would probably do like these 23. Pops, 23 cents pops. So go from like 23 and then another, or 25 and another 25. Get that 50 cents, but like take half your money in, and if you see it starting to go super down, then you cut it before all your profits are done.
In this election, and of course he has clearly lost this election, but in my mind, that's the things that I'm hearing. I'm hearing that this is a White House that is still very much on the eggshells, because the leader of the free world, President Trump, is not wanting to have a very clear-eyed view of the election. The other thing I should point out is that the president has said he's open to taking the COVID-19 vaccine.
So don't forget, we have this stimulus deal that, or the federal government is actually in talks today. I actually have it here.
So even if he's not talking about it, reporters will likely push him into talking about that.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you both. Yamiche, one last point. That peacock wall behind you, on fire.
The Federal Reserve set to meet Wednesday to set interest rates and new interventions.
And from on-site testing to contact tracing.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
A detailed roadmap for reopening the schools in the spring. Is there a plan to vaccinate teachers ahead of that? Colorado Governor Jared Polis joins us next.
All right. So as we can see, DraftKings. I'm gonna buy one more of these. I can buy one more of this motherfucker.
For some of us, our healing journey is a short one. Save 50% when you pay per mile with Allstate. Pay less when you drive less. You've never been in better hands. Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
Woo! That was wild. Gotta see the numbers. Ooh, he almost got me. 1.4 yards away, technically. I get a close look at his foot, about a size 15. Scramble 14 yards, and with all that going on, catch probability 31%. Yeah! Touchdown, baby. What? You thought a little tow ticket was gonna stop me? Come on now. It's just that. It's powered by Amazon Web Services. AWS is out.
Hi, I'm Caleb, and this is my story. I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta or brittle bone disease. I have broken my bones almost 200 times, and I have had 11 surgeries. But I didn't let that stop me. I love to bike ride, climb, race, and I'm learning how to stand and walk. Well, I can only do all of this because of generous people like you and Shriners Hospitals for Children.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children has helped more than 1.3 million kids just like me, regardless of their family's ability to pay.
Shriners Hospitals for Children is only able to provide this world-class, life-changing medical care because of the generous gifts of people just like you.
Because of you, I can ride my bike. I can play basketball.
Because of people like you, I can run.
I can smile.
Will you send your love to the rescue today?
When you go to loveshriners.org right now and give just 63 cents a day, you're helping kids just like me.
So like DraftKings, it dropped to dropped to the resistance of yesterday. Now it did drop a little below the resistance from yesterday. It actually went to a low of 50.01. So I do like where DraftKings is right now. I do think that J Maya needs to come down a little bit. It is a little too high. I did feel very comfortable jumping in on Neo, or I did, because everything told me to do it, except for the one thing that it was already close to overbought on the RSI, and I didn't want to.
Call again or give right away at loveshriners.org.
No, it's not a FOMO thing. Not one bit. No, it's just, the RSI. Sometimes stocks can really go past the oversold. Like they'll stay up there for at least three to 4 minutes or higher, or more than that. So but definitely, this definitely can go past what I want it to go to. I definitely think it's going to go past this level here. Neo does these amazing waves like that. So
$3,000 a year. Call 1-833-869-9147.
Fresh prepared meal.
So we do know that this is the level of resistance that it's having a hard time breaking right here, as it popped up to that, and then it came back down. So we'll see if it can reclaim some of that, test it again, and maybe pop up over it. Now DraftKings is looking real prime. Now the low of this is 49.81, but the recovery bounce off of 50.29, which is already passed. So I am liking DraftKings right now where it's at. I wanted to see if it can get to our 50.51 or $50.10.
Do we have to sign for it? All right.
That video, it was like he was one of Walker's beauties combined with...
Alright, so let's see if Neo can get to where we want it to go. We're not that far off.
Just like the rest of us,
kind of.
as the first COVID vaccines arrived to his state of Colorado. A respiratory therapist just became the
20 cents
first person
away.
there to get a vaccine. But it's very important to remember, we are not out of the woods yet.
30 cents away, I'm sorry.
Up in that state, and 1 in 4 hospitals anticipate a staff shortage within the next week. Governor Polis joins us now. Governor,
So I would jump the gun right now on DraftKings. It's massive sell-off right now with some indecisions before this last red bar.
Thank you, Stephanie, and I know you've been going.
So you can tell that the Bulls and the Bears have been battling out on almost each candle, except for like these 1, 2, 3 bars that the Bears won. So I'm thinking.
To go in, he had very high levels of lung inflammation. He was given steroids. He only had to spend 2 nights.
I'm thinking they can. I'm thinking to jump. I'm thinking that this could be great to jump into now.
How's your family doing?
My family is doing very well. My takeaway, though, was I can't believe how poor our testing is. Having experienced it yourself, has it changed the way you are going to test in the state of Colorado? so difficult to get access to testing, and the turnaround time for results can last days.
So we really doubled down on testing early.
All right, so let's see if it can reach our level. We're not that far away. We're like 20 cents away from it.
Get out probably in 20 minutes or so, and we've worked real hard to get the time back to 1 day to 2 days. So about 40% of the tests within 24 hours, over about 90% within 2 days results. We also deployed the
We're not at overbought yet, so
they're not as accurate, but they give you
when we start getting to the overbought signal, that kind of tells me, oh, this is probably going to drop down a little more again. So I'm okay with holding this until it reaches our mark. It's not much. I know that needle can move more than that. So we just gotta wait to see if this can pop back up for us. If there's a little mini pullback. Hopefully it's just a little mini pullback and it can skyrocket for us going up. So let's see what it does.
Any of our partners that gets it, or will we assign it to somebody who will? Many of our healthcare workers have been receiving it yesterday, today. Folks that work in COVID wards. It's just amazing.
And drop it down to.
I heard from folks who basically have been living in a separate room in their home because they didn't want to risk contamination.
45 even. We'll do 45 even.
Some of the folks who
so we'll get rid of this.
Every day.
What are you doing to make sure your most vulnerable communities get access?
We'll do it 50 cents, not 55 cents. Although I think it can reach the 55. But we're going to do even 50.
Very closely with age. So over 65, people with pre-existing conditions. Next week, many of our nursing home residents will be receiving it. And then we're rapidly expanding some supply permits to folks over the age of 65 with pre-existing conditions. It's a much more deadly virus. Not 2 times, not 5 times more deadly, Stephanie, but 100 times more deadly for people in their 70s and in their 20s. It's a profound difference. We want to save lives.
The last time you were here with me, we talked about your efforts to keep businesses going in your state. You had a very detailed plan. How are businesses surviving in Colorado compared to the rest of the country?
Well, we're grateful our unemployment rate's a bit lower. We're doing our best here. We just launched something that we call the Buy Star program. It was an innovation out of Western Colorado, Mesa County, which successfully was able to keep more businesses open by having them sign up to have higher levels of protocols, to be certified as safe, with mask wearing and ventilation and other aspects that they have a independent source verified, and then they can increase that capacity. They never had to shut down in-restaurant dining. It's at reduced capacity, but other parts of our state have. But other than restaurants and gyms, our stores have been open. Everything else has been going reasonably well, but it's not going well for anybody till we defeat this virus.
And for those who can afford it, if there was ever a time to shop local, it's this holiday season. Governor, thank you so much for joining. I'm glad to hear you are doing well, and I'm sending my best to your partner.
Thanks, Stephanie, and thanks for calling on everybody to support our local small businesses across America.
Coming up next, we're going to continue to talk about small businesses, specifically restaurants. With over 100,000 at risk of closing, that puts millions of jobs at risk. Why can't a restaurant bill with wide bipartisan support get passed?
This holiday, make any moment magical by giving the gift that anyone will love. Guru Nanda essential oils are 100% pure and natural, delivered straight from the farm to you. Nothing added, nothing removed, and never synthetic. So relax, refresh, or recharge. Enjoy any moment with Guru Nanda essential oils. Available in the vitamins section at these fine retailers.
This is a respiratory virus. Just one droplet can result in the symptoms we all know and dread. Introducing Biovanta, a scientifically proven natural drug that's been shown more effective on cold, cough, and sore throat than all the leading products on the market. At Fidelity, you get personalized wealth planning and unmatched overall value. Together with a dedicated advisor, you'll make a plan that can adjust as your life changes, with access to tax-smart investing strategies that help you keep more of what you earn. And with brokerage accounts, you see what you'll pay before you trade. Personalized advice, unmatched value. At Fidelity, you can have both.
Hi there, I'm Chris Berman. When the games are over and the cameras are off, just like you, I need my car. But if your car is out of warranty, breakdowns can be really expensive. It's not a matter of if your car will break down, but when.
So I'm going to change it there to where it's at, being that that's the level of resistance. So just to get out of it, it's still 50 cents even gain from where I bought in at. So let's see if we can get to that at least. So I'm hoping that this is going to maintain this little mini pop that it has.
They put a transmission in it and a motor. Who does that?
If your car is out of warranty, you're at risk of getting stuck with expensive car repairs. Call CarShield now and get towing, roadside assistance, and rental car coverage at no extra cost.
Have you looked under a car hood recently? It's like a computer on wheels. Repairs can drive a giant hole in your bank account. I didn't want that happening to my family. So we got coverage from CarShield.
So let's see if we get a third attempt. We already got, or a fourth. Shit, because we already had 3. So, but I do think it's still undervalued. So I think we can still make some decent money on it. I don't want to sell it sooner. I know it can push at least to that level.
CarShield saved me over $2,000 on repairs to my car.
If your car is out of warranty, you better get CarShield.
CarShield covers most makes and models, new or used, with no long-term contracts.
Do yourself and your wallet a favor. Call CarShield today, before your car breaks down.
Now it's the time to make the smart choice and protect yourself from sky-high
Teasing. Teasing.
Free and instant protection plan quote. It's only a matter of time until repairs are needed. And once your car breaks down, it's too late. Call 800-514-7556. 800-514-7556.
I got sausage. You can do better, Steve. Get a freshly made footlong from Subway. You can even order on the Subway app. Did I just get picked off by Deion Sanders? You sure did.
Get a free footlong when you buy 2 because it's footlong season.
Come on, you know you want to pop up, man.
Turn up the volume for this. This morning, we are learning the good news that Congress is close to reaching a $900 billion deal on COVID relief. But one group that cannot afford to wait longer, restaurants. According to a new survey, at least 110,000 restaurants across this country are closed, many permanently, with 10,000 of them closing in just the last 3 months. And it's not
So it's like I'm gonna be in this a little bit longer than I wanted. I should have sold it right there. It was a 49 cents pop. Now we'll go back down. How far down it's gonna go? It might drop back down to where we bought in at, to be honest with you, before it does another run. But where I'm asking it to go, it's not that far. So
that they believe could get them to the other side of this crisis. My colleague, my reporting partner, Benji Starlin, and I have been speaking to people in the industry and lawmakers. He joins us now with the latest on our reporting. Also with us, Marcus Lemonis. He's the host of CNBC's The Profit, where he is tasked with going to struggling small businesses and helping them survive. Benji, let's start with our reporting. The deal lawmakers are working on right now includes targeted relief for live theater venues, music venues, museums, but not restaurants. Why is that?
Jeremiah taking off. DraftKings fucking pouncing like I knew it would. My goodness, look at that. That was beautiful. Following the level of resistance. My goodness.
The money for that dried up months ago, which is why there's been a lot of pressure to reauthorize it. But restaurants argue it doesn't meet their needs. A group called the Independent Restaurant Coalition, which consists of a lot of...
And we are done, ladies and gentlemen. We stuck tough, going for a 50 cents gain. We are now done trading for the day. I do believe that this is going to end up going to $45.62, maybe $46. Neil is still a great play. J Maya is a great play. Although J Maya, where it was at and where it opened, it scared me, to be honest with you, because it's too high. DraftKings wasn't too high, but we see those levels of resistance and support come in handy, seeing that it was already at resistance from yesterday. DraftKings, I'll show you real quick. So we can see here, if you follow the support and resistance, and you learn the characteristics of what this type of stock does with the news and everything. You can see. So this dotted green line right here on this chart is the resistance level from yesterday. You can see that it came and it tapped that 3 times. It attempted to touch it here, but it did here, and then it came back down. And then pre-market went surpassed that, opened at that level. So for me, I'm going to expect for this to drop, especially since it already opened close to resistance. Now, JMI did the same thing. It had a dollar pop, came back down for a little bit, and then popped right back up. But, for me, the tricky thing here is that, so, DraftKings pop in the morning dropped, right? It decreased. But so did JMI. Now, JMI's level of resistance from the day before was way low. So JMI could very easily have popped up, even though from where it opened at today, because it did pop up to the level of support from yesterday. So it was trading at support. Now, normally if a stock is trading at support, we can see this go up, even if it opens up at the resistance line and on the deviation lines, because it was already low, and what it did was it curled back up to the level of support that it was at from yesterday, seeing that it has room to grow from there, which it already did. It already reclaimed what it did yesterday, the high of yesterday. So, that's pretty cool, man.
Businesses that are most affected by this pandemic and the necessity to shut down and put people over.
So DKNG, wow, phenomenal. I mean, amazing. You gotta love this fucking stock.
I don't know why the government doesn't really understand this process, and I'm kind of tired of hearing that local cities and states.
I was gauged in
solve this problem. Because the collateral damage to the
I was gauged with NEO. I mean, when I'm locked in a stock, I'm locked in on that stock. Like that's the one I'm looking for to go. As we can see that it continues to go. So I believe that NEO. I believe that NEO is going to reach this mark here, 45.61.
It's not signed yet.
Well, it sounds like there's not a lot of chance for this particular deal. I reached out to Susan Collins' office, who is one of the bipartisan negotiators, and they sounded pretty opposed to the Restaurants Act in general on principle, not just in terms of having the amount of money in the deal. Their concern is that it doesn't have enough requirements to hire workers and keep them on payroll, even if business is down at a restaurant, which is one of the key requirements of PPP. In a little bit of pushback to some of the more prominent advocates for the Restaurants Act, a spokeswoman for Susan Collins said that they can imagine a celebrity chef, for example, getting a grant at their restaurant and not using it to hire back workers. So there is definitely some opposition internally to this.
Just because you're a celebrity chef doesn't mean your business wasn't shut down.
Well, I have just one big question. What would be the principle behind saying it's going to be shut down? Susan Collins says just in principle. Under what principle?
See, Marcus, you're not a journalist or a lawmaker. You don't realize we got to go to commercial. We got to wrap this thing up. But you have to come back soon and see us. Our show is done for this hour. Marcus, Benji, really good to see you. That wraps us up. I'm Stephanie Rule. Casey Hunt picks up breaking news coverage on the other side of the break.
You're watching MSNBC. Traditionally, black people have been shut out of the financial system. My grandfather founded Industrial Bank in 1934, so black people would have a bank that would work with them. Because our doors are open, other doors are opening to more opportunities for our community. We're excited to work with cities.
All right, guys, so we're done for the day. DraftKings, wow, amazing. And I love for DraftKings to come back down. Not too much. I believe DraftKings, so basically it reached the high of yesterday. No, not of yesterday. Shit, this reached the high of, what, a couple days ago. So it already reached that. With this long ass wick here, the bears were like, nah. This is my bar.
try the Freestyle Libre 14-day system
So-
for free. Learn more at myfreestyle.us.
So for 50 cents pop, we made with 21 shares, 10.58. So we're taking these small base hits. We're gonna try and go in double digits every single day now. So we'll do these 50 cents pops on these same stocks. As long as they're in good play in good region, knowing that they still have ways to go to climb to where they came from, and it has potential to keep going. That's why I like playing these stocks. J Maya has a potential to keep on keeping on, and DraftKings was already like at a $60 stock, $8 away from that right now, $9 away from that. Neo was at like 58, 56. We're about like what, $10 away from that, $11 away from that. So, and then they can keep going. All these stocks can keep going. So it's always good to play stocks that are going to keep moving like that. It's always
Some you've known your entire life. Others just feel like it. They come in small groups or by the thousands.
So I was looking at Moderna, because Moderna got some good. Morgan Stanley. These mothers, man. When they come in and they say, "Hey, we're going to." Oh, they changed it. Oh no! So they downgraded Moderna. So apparently because Morgan Stanley was one a downgraded Zoom when we got caught into that, because we got into it right. It just dropped because of the stupid news.
5G and I'm saving 40%. Come on. Oh, almost forgot. I figured out time travel. So we're gonna get nuts later.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile. Get 5G
So
nationwide. Up to 40%. It's a better way to.
But Moderna's the next vaccine to go. So I do like where Moderna's at. I think I do. Yes. So I'll show that to you right now. So we take a look at the 10-day chart, 30 minutes. Currently where it's at right now, it's very close to what it was 10 days ago before it made that massive run. So, we're like what? We're like $40 away from that massive high right there. So this being the very bottom low, right?
Good morning.
We take a look at the 5-day. So this chart, you look at this chart and you look at it, you should never, I wouldn't swing trade biotech stocks, because these things can drop massively and they can go up massively, but they go down faster than they do go up. So, but I guess for the time being, as long as the news maintains its course and this is going to be the next vaccine out, and apparently it's better than the Pfizer vaccine, just one injection. So the 10-day chart, you look at it like, okay, it could be good for a swing. We're already at the oversold region. We can ride this up to at least maybe from where it's at, a $10 run. So being where the resistance from yesterday at 148.14. So you look at this and okay, so because we have room to get to there at least, and then it has room to keep going higher, especially since this is the next vaccine that's going to be out in Walgreens and everywhere. But if we take a look at the 5-day chart, it looks even more enticing. You know what I'm saying? Because look at this massive drop. So, and then we take a look at the 180 chart, we can see that it's back at the low here before it climbed up. So take a look at that, you're like, this is a double bottom. Double bottoms. Oof. So Moderna does look enticing to swing trading. Everything with all the charts combined. The daily or the 180, since it's already down here. I mean, it could go maybe a little bit further down, maybe to like 130, but doubtful. I think right there is where it's at. I think, especially it being the next vaccine to come out, I do think this can jump $8. I think maybe like in 2 days. It can do it today. It definitely can. I've seen it. So we'll take a look at DraftKings real quick before I sign off. So we take a look at DraftKings. Now DraftKings was a 64.75 cents stock, not that far back. We're talking about maybe 2 months ago. And then they had this massive decline. I think they were doing like a secondary offering, and then it just came down. And it bounced off this resistance level, seeing that that's what it was back here. So that's a good sign of where I want to get in and hold this again. But it didn't go down that far to where we started noticing. We noticed it around this area here. So if we were to pay attention to this, where it came from, where it went, and then dropped down here again, and then having room to grow from there. So as you can see, it already reached that high already. You see back here, 53.44. This thing already touched that. So I do like that. I do think that even with this massive run, and then it already touching what 4 or 5 day old high of 53.44, and then come back down. So maybe what I think it's going to do, it'll lose some gas throughout the market, and then maybe we can retest it. So thing is that what I like about these stocks is that look where it came from. It has the potential to get there again. After this massive sell-off here and maintain this area for at least a month or so, and it can definitely climb back up, especially being, it's a good company, sports betting, all that kind of stuff. And then we talk about NEO real quick. So NEO is on this chart looks overextended, right? But it did come down quite a bit. So we already retested this level already quite a few times, going back in a month, this 39.29 level. So now we're testing this level here, which is a 41.19. So this can definitely go to 47.37 in this week, and then maybe go to $50. So I'm still liking that. So until it reaches the $50 mark, I think I'm still gonna want to keep an eye on NEO. Alright guys, so I'm done for the day. I'm gonna go ahead and get my jog on, get ready for my day, and I hope everyone made money today.
Vaccinating up to 450 people today. I think we had a little bit of video from when they actually received. You mentioned FedEx, that FedEx shipment yesterday.
No, I did. I did the strategy. I mean, sometimes I don't because of where
It is an overstatement to say that when you watch this, the workers here
of the price action, and even with that, I'm mostly right.
It's extraordinary. Just anecdotally,
so
yesterday I waited in the line. It's the testing
to recap it again, I'll go through it again. So I waited for the first candle to tell me where to get in, see if it was going to keep going down, because it was going down at one point. It did reach that 200 EMA, and then it started going up. And it was already at the high of the pre-market. But knowing that this has room to go, and knowing that NEO can pop real nice, my slow crossed literally right here on that second candle. Now it was at the overbought on the scope, and it was at overbought already on the RSI. So yeah, and kind of in hindsight, because of that, I probably should have waited, seeing that, because that's a double negative right there, So you already have both your indicators in the bottom, one being slower than the other, the RSI being slower than this one. Let me fix this, it's going to bug me all day.
Tell us about what we know so far about that vaccine, similar in technology to Pfizer, but with some critical differences. Do you think you'll be able to recommend emergency use authorization?
Yeah, always good to recap. And
similar technology to Pfizer's is a messenger RNA molecule that
see what you could have done better.
And the protocol is
so yeah, so my lines crossed, but and my lines were underneath it, so I based it on all these lines here.
The adverse reactions are very similar.
I still like where I got in. The only thing is just that the overbought was on both indicators in the bottom. knowing that Neil can definitely, going in right here where I came in, I got in here at 44.46, and I sold it right here.
A little bit about why the public,
so from that point to that point,
in these vaccines,
not that far away, being 50 cents exactly from that point to that point.
About it, what have you been able to see in your role on this panel
but
that you think could
it's a good thing. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna look at the charts. It's always good to look at what you did. I mean, say even if you went green, you could probably went more green, right? You probably could have got a better entry. So although I do like the entry that I did get, because we know Neil can, boom, has the potential to do that, like every stock does in the first 10-15 minutes of the bell. But it's always good to look at everything. So you learn, you learn. So always, because you could have got in here, right? So, but what if, but we also have, so I'm going to do is, you always study your charts, I'm going to go back and look at stocks that have done this and see how many. I'm going to go down my entire watch list and I'm going to see, stocks that do this, like, because I've seen stocks go to overbought and stay overbought for like 5 minutes. And, it's nothing, especially for all we're doing is getting 50 cents, but it was already a little bit up there. So,
reminder and also very helpful explanation for part of why we were able to get here so quickly. The other, of course, critical piece of building trust is focusing on some of the communities that have been the hardest hit by this virus and who perhaps have had a difficult relationship with the medical establishment in the past, particularly people of color. Blaine Alexander, my colleague, she spoke with a black woman who participated in the Pfizer trial. I want to show you what she said, and then we'll talk about it. Let's watch.
I want to make sure that when the vaccine came out that it's effective, especially on African Americans, because what could happen is that if we don't have enough people participating in the trial, when the vaccine comes out, we could still be back in the same boat forever.
So what do you say?
All right, so this is my note when I come back. We always try to improve our trading. We have a good strategy that works, but if we can improve on that strategy as we go, it's always a good thing. We want to go green more than we want to do red. Some of the stocks that we trade, a lot of stocks that we trade, have a good history of bouncing back. So, I don't mind holding on to the stock for a couple days. I think 3 days is my threshold. I think I figured that out. Unless I 100% absolutely need it, I don't need it, then I don't care. But or thinking of holding it for longer than that. But since we're splitting our account, our money in our account, you don't want to hold on to the stock for more than 2 days because it's tying up money, potential money you can make more. But if you have more capital and enough where you can hold on to a stock for a couple of days and continue to trade and make more money, then that's great, because you're gonna end up making more money doing that. You swing trade a few stocks at a decent price, hold on to it for a week or so, or even if you were day trading it, it's still low. It just got a little bit lower, and it doesn't reach your stop loss. So that way you don't bleed fully. You got to give yourself a maximum what you're willing to lose. But also these type of stocks, also we know that they, unless it's gonna go bankrupt or something, it's not gonna go past a certain level. So that's why we always do the resistance to support, to let us know how far down it can go before it bounces up. Are we gonna buy this now? So if we're day trading this way high, then I don't feel comfortable holding this for more than, if it reaches a certain level. If it passes that level, then I'm pretty much done, because it can keep going, because the potential to keep for it to downfall is higher than it is it going up. So but these stocks right now, they're not in jeopardy of doing that. Day trading is risky no matter what stock you trade. I don't want to say this is the safer version of it. I do want to say
going together and what it's looking like.
That it is less volatile than Momo stocks, and you can kind of predict what these things do if you go with the charts and the price action. So if you have to hold on to this for a couple of days, like NEO, I believe is a great hold for a couple of days. I just don't want to tie up my money for longer than when I want to. So we can see NEO dropping back down past what we bought it at. Massive sell-off right there. My goodness, this is what I'm loving about NEO. And then watch NEO come back to this 44.96 where we sold at. Watch. Well, I already have 45.62 as the highest I think it'll go today. But it can really surprise us. You never know.
Vacuum of leadership who are unable to get anything done. So now, when deadline is quickly approaching, Friday at midnight, when government funding runs out, when people lose their unemployment insurance the day after Christmas, it seems like
no, I don't think DraftKings is done with. Not by far. No. Day trading it right now, I think is risky. We have this massive, beautiful run here. I mean, the Bulls just took charge and then let go until this point right here. Like, all right, you can have it. And then now the Bears are in control. So the thing is, it's still trading above the resistance of yesterday. So it could very easily use that as support as we see it's making new highs. But it could also come back down to one of these levels here, which is the support from yesterday, which is 50.29, the low of today, which is 50.19, and then the low of yesterday, 50.10. So I don't know. DraftKings is very volatile, man. I like it in the first 30 minutes. It can really tell you where it's going. It's very good. Same thing with NEO. You know, so we see right now what NEO is. So you see it's kind of head and shoulders so far right now.
Senate nominee John Ossoff is going to join me live later on this hour.
Also, we have a double top here, right? Right here. This is the head, shoulder. So this is definitely going to go back up. How far up it's going to go? I think it's going to go right here, 44.97. I think it'll reclaim that.
The following is a car warranty alert.
Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer all my stuff over to
You could be at risk of expensive auto repairs that could cost you thousands.
Trader
CarShield
View.
will qualify you for an auto protection plan that could save you from expensive auto repair bills. Choose the plan from CarShield that's right for you, so you won't have to pay for covered repairs. No more worrying if you can afford a breakdown. No more expensive parts and labor. No vehicle inspection. No credit checks. Plus, you can pick any ASC certified mechanic or dealership to fix your car. You also receive roadside assistance, rental car coverage, and hotel reimbursement while traveling. Breakdowns happen, but you don't have to get stuck with expensive repair bills. Don't put yourself or your wallet at risk. CarShield cars go farther. Call CarShield now for your free instant quote.
Not bad. 1 mini red loss for the month of December. So see if we can keep that as the only one.
Need visuals to help your work stand out? Get 10 free images.
So we're going to keep trying going in double digits here.
Design websites, emails, social posts, and more. Quickly and easily.
We were on a roll there for a minute. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right off 50-50.
To James, from James. That's just what I wanted.
Is this a new Buick? This year it's handed myself.
Alright guys, so that does it for me.
Don't forget you this holiday season.
Hope you guys made money. And see you tomorrow. More than likely, I'm probably going to trade the same 3. More than likely. You know, like see where they go. I mean, we can definitely get some 50 cents pop out of these for now. Keep going double digits, maybe a little more, depending how far down it goes. Maybe I want it to go up a little more, thinking it can, because, you know, of everything we see in the charts. We let the chart tell us what the stock is doing, what it can do, where it's going to go. You know, all that stuff. That's why we have a lot of stuff to our
Feel and trust. Join us. Pills, a step ahead for
fingertips.
Happy holidays from everyone at Neptune Westlake Mazda. And for people looking for
So we have the my watch list is a little bit
we're offering 0%
mixed.
with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 bonus cash on the best-selling Mazda CX-5 or lease a new 2020 Mazda CX-5 for just $139 per month.
All right, guys. Wow, look at Neo, man. I knew that was going to happen. Did something just come out? I mean, that's a massive drop. I don't really think that.
The debit card for kids. They'll love learning to earn, save, and spend wisely for one bright holiday and an even brighter future. Sign up today at greenlightcard.com.
What if you could cook amazing food with very little effort every night? Brava simplifies the art of cooking so that you can make time for the things that matter most. Visit brava.com for more information.
Welcome back. We're waiting to hear from President-elect Joe Biden coming up in the next hour. He is set to formally introduce Pete Buttigieg, his one-time primary rival, as his pick to lead the Transportation Department. If confirmed by the Senate, Buttigieg would make history as the nation's first openly gay cabinet secretary. Meanwhile, at the White House, President Trump is about to meet with his cabinet as he's now calling out Mitch McConnell on Twitter for his much belated acknowledgement that Joe Biden is, in fact, president-elect. That acknowledgement, though, not coming with a commitment from McConnell to move quickly on the confirmation process for Biden's cabinet picks.
Wow, that's insane. That's a massive drop. Nothing really big on that. I mean, some news came out that Mercedes-Benz just announced that they're unveiling 6 EV prototypes into production over the next 6 years. Mercedes-Benz is a good company.
This session with this administration, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about the way forward.
I see Neo going up from here. Definitely going up from there. Will it reach the 44.97 after this massive drop? It can. I mean, it can probably, scrape it.
NBC's Jeff Bennett is
That's why I love Neo, man, with these massive drops like that. So,
is at the White House.
all right, guys, I'm done. I'm gonna get ready to go for my jog. We have a green day today. So far we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days. It would have been 9, 10, 11 days green, but these were we were holding on to these to Zoom these 3 days here, which is a lot more than I want to. But hey, it is what it is. With a small loss of 38 cents. So we're good. We're good, guys. So we're going to keep trying going in double digits to finish the month. And then we're going to raise those $10, $11, $13, $15 wins to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100. So in no time we're going to get there. We can stay consistent and we just maintain consistent. We can definitely make it. We don't want to get caught in these waves like this right now, because this thing is looking like it wants to go to 42.34, which is the resistance or support from yesterday. That's a massive drop, man. This right here. Insane, massive drop. Wow.
That Gina McCarthy, who led the EPA under former President Barack Obama, will become the White House domestic climate.
I get excited when good stocks drop because then they can get them at a discount. I would want the stock to continue, and if I'm holding on to a stock long term, yes, I would like for it to keep going up. But I'm not holding on to this long term, at least not right now. I'm day trading it. So I do like it when it drops. It gives me a discount and go from there. So, and we use the deviation lines real quick before I go. I'll explain this for those that are still trying to understand these deviation lines. So we do know that we call this yellow here the average, meaning that stocks tend to go up and under that quite often, right? So we can see here. So it went under, up over it, tapped it, went back up after tapping it, goes underneath it, taps it, goes here, then eventually finds its way back up. So knowing that, and also knowing that after this massive drop, it's already at support on the deviation line. So we know that for sure, from 43.64, it could definitely go to 44.44. So we can definitely hit this. And just to prove it to you, I'm going to go ahead and put a price alert there. And I have 3 price alerts. I have 44.43 of where it can go after this massive drop, going to the next channel, being the average, and it did drop massively, so there's a lot of upside to this. So definitely go for 44.43. I think the next level, the highest it'll go after this drop, be 44.97, and if it does happen to do a DraftKings like it did the other day, it could definitely go to 45.62, being the high of what I think it'll go today. But for sure, we know it's going to go to 44.43. So we're good on that. I did get an alert on Airbnb. Yes.
You raised the issue of the cabinet meeting today, Casey.
Still low.
He hasn't met with this team since
I don't know what this is going to do. I want to buy it long term. I don't know if it's cheap where it's at now. I don't know. I know it's going to go real high, but I want to see. Right now it's like it's gaining traction. So I think maybe if we reach 141.25, I think we're in business. I think from there it almost comes close to tapping the it comes up over the 200 moving average. So we'll see. Alright guys, I'm done. I will talk to you guys later, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Okay? Alright guys, have a good one.